Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen from the media. I think it's been a while since some of you heard from the Fixing the Country movement. And I think it's a privilege to have you here again on behalf of the entire Fixing the Country movement. I welcome you all to this all-important press briefing. It is a great honor to host you once again, as I said. First of all, it is very important that one Alan Greenspan, the former chair of the Federal Reserves of the United States of America, who remarked that, and I quote, "A resilient economy is that one that withstands or can withstand external shocks." And rightly so, Ghana's economy can easily be placed in the perimeter of the words of the renowned American economist. On that, Alan Greenspan noted on what he said. Let's bring some perspective into the substantive issue on the Ghanaian economy making the headlines in our news reports. In the recent public lectures on Thursday afternoon at the Pentecost Conference Center, Millennium City, Kasua, Yesukrom, in the Central Region, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia engaged in a serious economic analysis on Ghana's current situation with data and figures. We have all been struck by the far-reaching policies by government and His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on that day displayed remarkable technical know-how with his analysis on the economy. And it's rare to see optimism, worry, joy, and reflection all during one lecture. There was a lot of clear and outlandish policy ideas on display, but surprisingly, the NDC is yet to formulate a convincing response from their own party and their party leadership. It has been over 72 hours since the lecture of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP economic team. The NDC has yet not been able to provide data to counter Dr. Bawumia. Instead, it's all about speeches, media appearances, throwing their tantrums, leading activists talking and blowing hot air, politicians from the NDC and hangers on savaging the Vice President, His Excellency Bawumia, for stating the obvious with regard to our economic indicators in the country, the realities. These NDC elements have sharpened their attacks against the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, and in doing so, they are talking down our economic recovery program, even as the entire world crumble under post-pandemic political economic realities that is happening across the world. Ladies and gentlemen from the media, the question that we should all be posing to the NDC, who supposedly be to be the opposition party, is where are their economic gurus? You should ask them, the media people, where are their economic gurus? In NDC bereft of economic ideas, such that they have to deploy inexperienced propagandists to respond to otherwise serious economic policies churned out by our Vice President. Now, let's now dwell into deeper in the substantive issue as eloquently espoused by the Vice President, why the NDC is characterizing our current criticizing our economic recovery program in a negative terms. Is it not the case that, and I'm asking the media, is it not the case that the pandemic-related economic recession is slowly ravaging the world economy from Asia to the Far East, all the way to Europe and America? There is frightening economic downturn with consumers feeling the effect as inflation reaches a 30-year high as record of prices for gas, groceries, utilities, etc. in the US, for instance. Is it not true that we are seeing all these things across the world? In the UK, there is a rising inflation, energy bills going up by 50%, mortgages going up with today's Bank of England rate hike, council tax going up, national health levy going up as a result of the pandemic across the world. The European Union recently, just last month, proposed 3 new EU-wide taxes to help repay the joint government borrowing in the 27 nation bloc for their 800 billion euro, that is $904 billion COVID-19 recovery fund. According to the October 2021 World Economic Outlook prepared by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the global economic growth fell to an annualized rate of around minus 3.2% in the year 2020, with a recovery of 5.9% projected for 2021 and 4.9% for 2022. As it is, that is globally, smart governments the world over are finding solace in homegrown taxes policies in order to avert economic disaster as a result of the global pandemic. Ghana is no exception, and His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo and the MPP administration has been doing a lot to rally Ghanaians around the flags, irrespective of their political differences, and help build a better society for ourselves. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, Fixing the Country movement would like to juxtapose Mahama's doomsaw economy, that's how we call it, Mahama's doomsaw economy between 2012 and 2016 as against an experienced MPP Akufo Addo Gurgesbeck planned economy. Ladies and gentlemen, under Mahama government, that is NDC, Ghana undergone a self-defeating program of austerity with embargo on employment, mismanagement of the economy, stagnation in the agriculture sector, decline in manufacturing, maintaining an unstable exchange rate, cancelling teacher and nursing training allowances, and unprecedented energy crisis for 4 good years in this country. We were all here and we saw it. Mahama overspent and ran a budget deficit in the year 2012 alone, and to the tune of 8.7 billion Ghana cedis, whilst within 4 years, with sharp economic decline, fall in commodity prices, and we all heard it, we were importing food from Burkina Faso and other neighboring countries, and a fiscal crisis that forced Ghana to enter into a 3-year aid program with the International Monetary Fund. That is where we heard that they moved Akufo and the rest to Senchi to seek policy credibility. At that time, there were no global crisis. There were no pandemic. There were no Ukraine war. And yet, we were told by the then administration to go and seek policy credibility. According to Dr. Harrison Mensah, a political scientist at the University of Ghana, it was at this point between 2012 and 2016 that Ghana experienced the worst economic crisis in our democracy in recent year history. Ghana's democracy, the worst economic crisis. This is fact. There was a terminal feeling of malaise. The then President John Dramani Mahama roundly became a shaker. Almost 60% of the voters called for his removal, and I think you are all aware, because of doomsaw, the World Bank policies, credibility seeking, IMF conditionalities, joblessness, hopelessness, doomsaw, and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation was likened to a falling bath with cold water, then opening the plug and turning the hot water tap at the same time. Mahama was unable to undo the damage. And in the heady days of his administration, he metaphorically informed Ghanaians of a total depletion of the nation's coffers by saying, and I want to emphasize on this one, all the meat has been eaten to the bone. And the question is, how was the meat eaten to the bone? When was the meat eaten to the bone? Why was all the meat eaten to the bone? And who were those who ate all the meat to the bone? We had our own president making this statement at that time. We want to remind Ghanaians that situation, that Yahweh Namno Amanaka Dumpe, that was President Mahama, who said that there were no doomsday, there were no pandemic. Ghana, in fact, the world economy was in good shape. We didn't have any war in this country. So journalists, sometimes you should go out there and tell the story as it is. Mahama again in 2014 averred that as a president, he was having sleepless night because of almighty doomsday. He was having sleepless night. And out of frustration, he even told those who says he can't wait to see him out of office, that is Ghanaians who were criticizing him, to be patient. Since 2016, it's just around the corner. And I quote him. I'm quoting the former president. For those who disagree with me and are anxious to see my back, don't worry. I, John Dramani Mahama, in 2016 is not far away. I will leave. And I will urge Ghanaians to be patient, because it is it's a difficult job. And at least one expect Ghanaians to be loyal and patient. Ghana, for you were all in this country. He was so frustrated that he cannot manage Dumso. And those people who are attacking him and criticizing him, you should wait. 2016 is just around the corner. And this is the same man turning around, coming to tell Ghanaians that he wants to come back and manage your economy for you. As a matter of fact, the emphatic nature of the defeat in 2016 was so erroneous that the change was there, that Ghanaians voted massively for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo to steer the affairs of this country, and the larger population accepted the style of governance. As a matter of fact, the extraordinary spending and physical expansion that has accompanied the pandemic has been phenomenal in this government under Akufo Addo. The reality is that we have been going through a big change for the past 5 years after taking over from the incompetence of the NDC government in managing the Ghanaian economy. Ghana has been going through massive change, and with each year it only seems to grow exponentially. Denial of this does not negate that it has not been occurring and will not continue to occur. It's a fact. Indeed, these are the facts. In 2021, Ghana came as second in attracting foreign direct investment in Africa. The second. As a nation, we bang in 2.7 billion worth of investment, out of which $2.6 billion was from foreign direct investment. One would have asked, why was it that when the incompetent one was taking over the leadership of this country, there were no such inflow of foreign direct investment into this country, to the extent that the country was able to benefit $2.6 billion from this foreign direct investment. We realized from 271 registered projects in Ghana, and it envisaged that 27,000 direct jobs were created, according to the statistics from Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Akufo Addo's administration is supporting Ghanaian workers by throwing a lifeline to them. There have been massive recruitment, as a result of the IMF policy credibility by the incompetent one, the NDC. They freeze the Ghanaian employment in the public sector. And when we're able to bring back the economy from the IMF, we were able to recruit nurses, doctors and healthcare workers, teachers, police officers, and many others in the public sector after many years of freeze. And I repeat, after many years of freeze of employment in the public sector. The country wage bill has more than doubled under the Akufo Addo regime for the last 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the Akufo Addo administration has enrolled almost 15.5 million people on the biometric national ID. And I repeat, this is fact. Scheme, the national ID which the NDC came under Mills and Mahama and gave us small papers that this is your national ID, you go and register, and it didn't even materialize. And they spend the taxpayers' money on this particular thing. And journalists, sometimes you need to go deeper. Akufo Addo administration came, we have created jobs as a result of this, and giving an identity to the ordinary Ghanaian. We are trying to digitalize the whole nation using the national ID, and it has created a lot of employment. Again, we have implemented the groundbreaking mobile interoperability project. Ghana is the only country in the world that has thus far implemented our version of the MMI. Ghana is currently the fastest growing mobile market in Africa and has 36.9 million registered mobile accounts in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, this significant expansion of infrastructure requires capital investment, and that is where government revenue drives through tax policies come at play. And we have to also understand that if you live in a country whereby taxation doesn't play a role in the country's development, you have nowhere to go. Especially during this global crisis of pandemic and war, we need to come back home as a country and do policies that can generate funds for development. And in fact, it is very important. As going on, we will make critical analysis of these issues. Indeed, the tax economy actually has a biblical injunctions. Those of you who are Christians, in Matthew chapter 22 verse 21, when the Pharisees set a trap for Jesus with a query about paying taxes to Caesar, one of them showed him a Roman coin and asked them to who heads or inscription were on the coin, and they answered, "It's Caesar's." And Jesus responded, "Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God things that are God." By the biblical injunction, we refuse to let the NDC stand in our way of economic recovery to bring Ghana back on track after the pandemic and the war. President Akufo Addo is focused on keeping our economy strong, durable, notwithstanding the NDC obstructionism. They are obstructionists, people who are nation wreckers, and they will always say anything negative. Meanwhile, when they were in leadership or in the helm of affairs, they couldn't handle the economy. The NDC elements like Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, Sami Jemfi, Isaac Adongo, who are supposedly the economic gurus, who are fraudulently hoodwinking the gullible and the degrading political discourse, are just acting or posing like arsonists who are posing as firefighters. And they are obviously expecting to take credit for having extinguished the fire that they set for themselves. Let me end here, ladies and gentlemen, with this admonition to the NDC. We are sending a message to the NDC. A tale was told of an emperor who wore no clothes. Only the innocent knew he was naked. If the vociferous NDC element drops their sanctimonious and all-knowing but know nothing, all-knowing but know nothing attitude and pay attention to the basic details of the NPP Vice President Bahumia's economic policy, they will certainly see the truth. That the reality is dawning on this world. The reality is that there is a global recession. There is a pandemic that is hitting the bigger economies across the world. There is a problem. There is a war going on that has economic repercussions in this country. And nobody should just use that as a political advantage to score just political points to suit their own political whims and caprices. But we need to look at the crystal ball and say that despite the shocks, despite the problems that we are going through, Ghana is working under Akufo Addo. Ghana is working. Go across the globe, in America and in Europe, you cannot afford even a cooking oil from a supermarket, just a common grocery. You cannot get it. Fuel prices are escalating at a level that it has never happened in the history of the world for over 30 years. People are queuing for fuel in almighty Britain. People are queuing for groceries. And we sit in this country and we have an opposition leader who was so incompetent during the time that he led this country when there was no global recession, no global crisis, there were no war going on, and he was able to push the country economy in the hands of the IMF to dictate our economy for us. And these are the people who has the shenanigans to come and tell Ghanaians that they have the magic wand to handle the Ghanaian economy. It's an insult to the integrity of the Ghanaian voter. It's an insult to the minds of the ordinary Ghanaian people. Yes, we are not saying the MPP government is a saint when it comes to managing the economy. But let's look at those alternatives who are making noise, cacophony of noises all over the places and telling us that they are the alternatives when they were given the mantle of leadership to handle the Ghanaian economy. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I just said enough. And I will end my statement here by saying that Ghana will work again and Ghana will continue to work under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo and the MPP leadership. Long live Ghana, long live the NPP, long live the Akufo Addo administration, and long live Ghana. May God bless us all. Thank you very much.